Could the Chicago Bears finally sign Trey Hendrickson this offseason after years of rumors of trading for him? We're going to discuss that here on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Yes, I'm working from home today due to the weather, so we will not be going live this afternoon, but we will have at least one more episode today, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. By the way, Declan Doyle just withdrew from the Eagles offensive coordinator search. We will discuss that on this afternoon's episode. I'll have a short up on the channel as well. It may already be up by the time you're watching this. So some other news to get to later today. But let's get to Trey Hendrickson and the Bears as once again, there are rumors here. This time from our good friends over at Pro Football Focus. They put together an article of breaking down their top 10 highest graded defensive free agents, and they had Trey Hendrickson landing with the Bears. Something they wrote up here said, while the Bears found success with Montez Sweat, their edge pass rush rotation was limited. No other edge rusher with at least 100 pass rush snaps posted a pass rush win rate above 10%. Bears were 29th in pressure rate this year. There's 31.1%. And yada, yada, yada. They're saying reuniting Hendrickson with Dennis Allen makes sense. I completely agree. Now, we'll discuss later on some different avenues that the Bears could explore when it comes to trying to ramp up this edge group, this pass rush unit, because let's face it, it's something that needs to be improved. They got to get better at rushing the passer in 2026. And luckily, I do think there are going to be a few different avenues to do that for the Chicago Bears. But look, this could be right place, right time, right guy for Trey Hendrickson. Finished the year on IR, so that while that's concern, it also probably drives his price down. And I do think that's a key in all of this when it comes to the Bears and free agency. What's it going to cost? What is it going to cost to bring in Trey Hendrickson? Because the sticking point between him and the Bengals the last 18 months has been the guaranteed money. Well, I think he's lost some leverage finishing this year injured. The Bengals would only guarantee one full year, which they ended up just giving him a raise last year up to $30 million. I think if you're a team looking to sign him in free agency, I would guess the average annual value is less than $30 million per year, and the guaranteed money is probably less than 50. And if those two numbers are true, I'm on board with Trey Hendrickson. I saw Nick Whalen, who does a great job. He did like his mock offseason on Twitter. Go check him out. I think he had 4 for 110 for Hendrickson, which sounds like a lot, but only 40 guaranteed, right? Like I'd be cool with the structure like that. I'd even be cool with like a 2-year, $55 million contract with like 40 guaranteed. Make 1.5 of the 2 years guaranteed, something like that. So I'm on board with Trey Hendrickson, but the money has to make sense. And we know with free agency, it only takes one team to do something reckless. Like if some team is desperate enough, they could say, hey, we'll give you 3 for 100 with 75 guaranteed. I would have done that a year ago, and if I traded for him, I don't think I would do that now. I think I would cap the guarantees around 50. Maybe I'd go to 55 million, but ideally less than 50 million, and ideally the average annual value less than 30 million per year. Because Trey Hendrickson is a good player, but he is over 30. He's probably not going to be at his best moving forward. But if he's still a really good pass rusher, which I think when he's healthy he will be, just don't be a disaster against the run. I think that's a pretty good pairing with Montez Sweat for 2026, even if realistically you may only have that pairing for one season or two at the most. So I'm still on board with Trey Hendrickson, just like I have been the last couple years. And now if he hits the open market, you don't have to trade for him. So it really just comes down to, what does a contract look like? Would he be interested in reuniting with Dennis Allen? I would think he would look at what the Bears did this year and say, man, that's a fun ascending team. Something they really need is a pass rusher. That is something I can help provide for that organization. So I would hope that Hendrickson would have a lot of interest. He ended up only having 4 sacks this year, but his pass rush grade was like 90, 91 still per PFF. Last couple years, he's had 17.5 sacks in each season. So I fully expect if he's a healthy player, he's a double-digit sack guy. And if Montez Sweat is on the other side being really good against the run and is more of a secondary pass rusher, that's more of an ideal role for him. Trey Hendrickson is your top pass rusher, not as good against the run, but top pass rusher, whereas Montez can be more well-rounded and be a secondary pass rusher. I think you're in pretty good shape, at least in the short term. Long term, you're going to have to find some young developmental pass rushers. But look, you're in a window right now with Caleb Williams on a rookie contract. The Bears are going to have to move some money around, but they have a lot of flexibility to do that this offseason. Okay, we'll discuss the pass rush situation a little further. I kind of want to examine, some other avenues for the Bears this offseason, so stay tuned for that. But first, got to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor. They've been with us all year. They've been with us the last couple of years. PrizePicks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS to go download the app. The big game is almost here. Only one game left, and there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than on PrizePicks, where it's always good to be right. And since the big game is less than 2 weeks away, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season outright with PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups once you play your first $5. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to take Drake May or Sam Darnold, his more or less on passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns in the big game, all in one lineup, you can right now only on PrizePicks. Hit a couple of lineups over the weekend. I'm back on a hot streak, so feel good about that. I almost hit another one yesterday. I had Matthew Stafford more than 35 and a half pass attempts. Of course, he threw 35 times. Had JSN gotten out of bounds, I would have been golden, but not JSN, Adams, whoever it was, Nakua. Can't remember who caught that last ball. JSN on the Seahawks, obviously, but I hit the Darnold more than 7.5 rushing yards. I was so close, but we're going to get back on the saddle. Pick more, pick less. That's how you play PrizePicks. If you hit, you win money. Tons of stat projections out there. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, let's take a look at just kind of I'll call it tiers, or at least avenues, when it comes to targeting the edge position this offseason for the Chicago Bears. You've got A tier, which is a blockbuster trade, B tier, which is free agency, Trey Hendrickson, others, which we'll discuss, and then wild card, which is the draft. Maybe that turns into an A tier level player. Maybe it's a complete bust. That's kind of what the draft is. It's a complete wild card. So blockbuster trade options. We've discussed Max Crosby. I'm sure we'll discuss him more until there's a report saying that he's not going to get traded. Those rumors are going to be out there. Myles Garrett, is that a possibility? I tend to doubt it, given his contract structure with the Browns, but you never know. Weirder things have happened. Danielle Hunter, would the Texans consider it? Will Anderson Jr. is up for a payday. Would they pivot off Hunter? You would think they'd run it back with him, but guys spring loose. Players of that ilk, top pass rushers in the league that could become available, kind of like Micah Parsons did last year. There will probably be a name or two that we're not expecting that could become available this offseason. So you've got those type of options where you're going to have to give up big draft capital to secure one of the best in the NFL. Free agent options, obviously Trey Hendrickson, Khalil Mack, probably a one-year deal, but you could bring him back, still very good when healthy. For what it's worth, PFF in this article had Khalil Mack landing with the Ravens, so they could be in play for a player of his services. Jalen Phillips, who's going to look to cash in, played really well for the Eagles after getting traded by Miami at the deadline. Odafe Owe, who was good for the Chargers this year as well. Joey Bosa had a solid year for the Bills, was able to stay healthy too. Other guys will be out there, Jadeveon Clowney, guys of that level. Not guys who are going to dominate. Like Trey Hendrickson's clearly the best free agent edge available, but there's going to be a lot of guys that you could bring in that can just be productive, right? I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at with free agency, and you're always balancing how much do you have to overpay to get said free agent, because a lot of the times you are going to overpay. I'll give you an example. Jalen Phillips feels like a prime overpay in free agency. 27 years old, coming off a hot stretch with the Eagles. He could get over $100 million. I don't really see the Bears in that business for Jalen Phillips, which is why I like a Trey Hendrickson or a Khalil Mack option better. A little bit older, but you're not going to be locked down to them as long. The average annual value, especially for Hendrickson, could still be hefty, but you're probably talking about 1-2 years of guaranteed money at most. Khalil Mack is going to be a 1-year deal. He's year to year at this point in time. If it's a 2-year deal, I would guess the second year is mostly non-guaranteed. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. And then the draft options. I mocked Akeem Messidor to the Bears at 25. Older player out of Miami, but I think he's plug and play. I think he can contribute right away. Keldrick Falk, we'll see if he falls to 25. Big physical edge. I would think Dennis Allen would like that prototype. TJ Parker out of Clemson didn't have his best year, but still a solid prospect. Romello Height out of Texas Tech. David Bailey, the other Tech rusher, he's going to go top 10, so he's not going to be in range. LT Overton, Zion Young, you're kind of getting to that next tier of player in this NFL draft. We'll see if some other names emerge as the draft process ramps up. Got the NFL Combine in about a month, so that'll be here pretty quick. But, again, with the draft, A, it's a crapshoot, especially when you're picking at 25. And B, even if you do hit, it's rare for rookie pass rushers to come in and dominate right away. Like Micah Parsons had 12 sacks as a rookie. That's pretty rare. That even really, really good rookie edge rushers will have like 5 or 6 sacks. I think Will Anderson had 5.5. What's his name with the Rams, who I'm completely blanking on? You guys know who I'm talking about. Jared Verse. I think he had 4 or 5 last year, and it felt like he was dominant. So, if you draft an edge even in the first round, don't expect 12 sacks. Now, could an Akeem Messidor come in, give you 6 to 8 sacks and be a good player? Yeah, I think that's on the table, but we'll have to wait and see. But look, if you can get Trey Hendrickson, just to circle back to the top of this conversation, and it not cost an arm and a leg to do so, I'm pretty intrigued. The Bears showed this year that they're a playoff caliber team. Their big weakness is getting after the quarterback. And look, they have areas on all 3 levels of their defense that they need to improve on. But if you can improve your pass rush, that helps cover up a lot of not even necessarily weaknesses, but just like not strengths, if you will, on your defense. And guys getting healthy in the secondary. If you bring back Kevin Byard, hopefully Jalen Johnson's healthy. Kyler Gordon, I think we saw in the playoff game. He's a huge difference maker if he can be healthy. I know it's a lot of ifs, but if just a couple of those things happen and you improve your pass rush, I think this defense can be a lot better in 2026, even if the takeaways go down next year, which is probably expected. You aren't going to lead the league in takeaways 2 years in a row. That typically does not happen. All right, I'll ask you guys, and then we will get out of here. Should the Bears sign Trey Hendrickson? Comment yes or no down in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. We will be back later with another episode. Declan Doyle withdrawing from consideration with the Eagles offensive coordinator search. We'll see if we have an Al Harris update, so stay tuned for all of that, and we'll see you guys soon. Bear down.